Hello, Year 3. So this is the next instalment of Fortunately the Milk. The vampires had just been burned by the sunlight, and they are on their own again. Yes, I said, it is a nice place here, after all, in the daylight. The professor tinkered with the jewels and the string and the buttons. Then he said, I think I've got it properly fine-tuned now. This next press should bring you back to your own time, place, and breakfast. But before the tip of his tail could touch the button, a voice said, I'll explain later. Fate of the world at stake. A hand grabbed, and the milk which I had carried safely for so long was gone. I turned in time to catch a glimpse of a fine-looking gentleman with his back to me holding my milk, and then the hole in space through which he had reached was closed. Here's the pictures, can you see? My milk! He said he'd explain later, said the professor. I'd be inclined to believe him. The hole in space opened again. A voice shouted, Catch! And the milk came rocketing through. Fortunately, the milk struck me in the stomach, and in clutching my hands to my belly, I caught the milk. There, said the professor, everything is back to normal. He did say he'd explain later, I pointed out, and that wasn't much of an explanation. There he is, catching his milk. But it is not later yet, said Professor Stegg. It's still now. It won't be later until later. He was arranging pebbles and stones and string on the top of my time machine box. Final coordinates entered, he said, and then it's off to your house for breakfast. Does that mean there is a stegosaurus in a hot air balloon outside? I asked my dad. There is not, he said, for reasons that will become apparent. I think that there should have been some nice vampires, said my sister wistfully. Nice, handsome, misunderstood vampires. They were not, said my father. Would you like to press the button, said Professor Stegg. I pressed the red button. There was an ear-popping noise and a flicker of years, and I was floating in a balloon basket above the corner of Marshall Road and Fletcher Lane. I could see our house from above. I could see the bicycles in the back garden. I could see the rabbit hutch. We're here, I said, and I patted Professor Stegg on the back ridge plates. It was very nice having you as a travelling companion. Oh, said the professor, because there was a familiar sort of thump-thump noise, and before I had a chance to press the red button, we were deposited, balloon and all, on the enormous metal deck of a flying saucer, with a number of very grumpy-looking, green, globby people staring at us, with too many eyes. They did not look pleased. Look, there they are. Remember, we saw that shape at the very beginning, didn't we? Ha ha, said several green globby people at the same time. You thought you had escaped from us, and you were wrong. Now you must sign the planet over to us so that we can remodel it. We will take out all the trees for a start and put in plastic flamingos. Why? We like plastic flamingos. We think they are the highest and finest art from that Earth has achieved, and they are tidier than trees. Also, we are going to replace the clouds with scented candles. We like scented candles too, explained a huge green globby person who looked like he was mostly made of snot. We also like decorative plates, said another. We will put a decorative plate up where the moon is now. A really big decorative plate showing landmarks of the world. Replace all the landmarks of the world with decorative plates with pictures of landmarks on them too, said the eye. So the Eiffel Tower will be replaced by a large plate with a picture of the Eiffel Tower on it. And Australia will be replaced by a really seriously big plate with Australia on it. Also, we will replace all of your mountains with embroidered cushions. And the smallest, globbiest thing of all, with triumph in its glutinous voice, said, We have learned a lot from our previous meeting, said some globs that were sticking to a wall. If you look over there, you will see that the door to time-space continuum you used to escape through last time is now securely locked. And it was definitely locked. It had a huge padlock on it and a sign saying, Keep out, in unfriendly red letters. There were also chains around it. A tape said, Do not cross. And a handwritten notice said, Escape was impossible. Also, we have depowered your time machine. I looked at the professor. His armoured back flaps were drooping and his tail was, well, not actually between his legs because stegosauruses aren't made that way, but if they were, it would have been. There's Professor Steg looking quite sad. "We have been tracking your movements through time and space," said a large globby alien in front of a console with a screen on it. "Now see what happens when I press this Grundledorfer," said a particularly drippy alien. It was half sticking to the wall next to the large black shiny button. "It's called a button," I said. "Nonsense, we named it after our brood aunt Nessie Grundledorfer," said the globby aliens. The particularly drippy alien pressed the black button on the metal wall with something that might have been a finger and might have just been a long strand of snot. There was a crackle. There was a fizz. Standing around us in attitudes of anger and irritation were several pirates, some of the black-haired people from the jungle, a very unhappy-looking volcano god, a large bowl filled with piranhas, and some vampires. There they all are on the spaceship. "I'm not sure that I understand what the piranhas are doing," said my sister. "They were from a narrow escape earlier that I forgot to mention," said our father. "Fortunately, the milk floated at a crucial moment and it all ended for the best." "I thought it might," I said. "Uh-oh," I said. "Prepare to be keel-hauled, you scurvy dogs," shouted the pirates. "Let us now sacrifice them both to Great Splod," shouted the people with shiny black hair. "They stole my eye twice," rumbled mighty Splod. "We want those villains and varmints violently wound up," proclaimed a tall lady vampire with long fingernails. The piranhas said nothing, but they thrashed about in their bowl ominously. "Doomed," moaned Professor Steg. "We cannot escape. They have frozen us in time and depowered us. Even my mighty time machine can do no more than open a small window in time and space, smaller than either of us could get through." "But can you do it?" I asked. "Open a little window in time to our last location?" "Of course, but what good would that do?" "Quickly," I said, "do it." Professor Steg pushed the button on the box with the tip of his nose. There was a zum and a plip, and a window opened in space and time large enough for an arm to get through. I reached into it. "I'll explain later," I said. "Fate of the world at stake." I grabbed the milk from me 15 minutes earlier through the tiny space portal. Look, there he is reaching from the other side. "You must like milk a lot," said the globby aliens, "but that craving for lactic liquids will not make us take pity on you or let you go and spare your badly designed planet." "It should," I said. "What am I holding in my left hand?" Milk," they said. "And what am I holding in my right hand?" They paused, and one alien, so green and small and so globby and crusted that he might have been an enormous snot bubble blown by an elephant with a terrible head cold, said, "The same milk from 15 minutes earlier." And we're going to leave it there for today. See you tomorrow.